Well, hello, one and all. Welcome to the Indoctrination on this fine Tuesday, July 28th. Very similar to President Trump's at 2028. We are on the 28th day of the month in the dog days of summer. Welcome, one and all. My friends, I was just wanted to let you know. I think it was just off by one on the show count. So the 1776 show will be Thursday. Okay, Thursday, and I want to make it a great show. So please join us on Thursday for the 1176th show. Thank you, Moonbeam. Thank you, Quasi Pete, for being here and being the mod squad with the best of them. And so glad that you joined us this evening, my friends. Say hello to your friends out there in Snedland. This is a great, great, and beautiful community, and I'm so honored to be here with you. Um, okay. Well, let me get right to it. First of all, let's take a sip. Let's check your code. I'm drinking from my Holly Marsh mug of Jasper and the deer and the moon, and it's a big mug, man. Some of you might need two hands to hold it. Fortunately, I got the big mitts. All right. Down 25 pounds as of today. Still on keto, coming off my fast, and still doing the P90 plus, not just the foot device that I just rest my foot on for 20 minutes twice a day as I meditate, check messages, you know, have a drink of something, pet Jasper, whatever I'm doing. It's 20 minutes of just an out breath. And I don't feel like we take enough out breaths in this life. That's what Steiner said was so important to children, is that we don't overschedule them and that we give them time for an out breath. And for the boomers and the X gens, anybody who went home after school, we had a little out breath. Like we had, okay, all right, I'm going to go out and play with the kids, but I'm going to have a snack. I'm going to just relax for a little bit and then go out and play, and or whatever your schedule was. But an out breath is so important. And so not only am I using this device that Moonbeam just dropped here, uh, which is fantastic, but until Friday, you have the opportunity to also get a free um, air ionizer. And what it's called Bama Air, because there's a town in Bama, China, where people live beyond 100 quite healthily. And they tried to figure out why that was the case. And they figured out that the air that they were breathing had these ion particles in it at a very, very high concentration. And so this air purifier not only cleans your air, but it puts these ions into the atmosphere of your surroundings, of your living space, and you are breathing in really incredibly healthy air that is stimulating your cellular activity and your lungs, and it's just fantastic. And just till Friday, because they just came out with this device. So it's this intro. You're not going to, I don't think you're going to be seeing an offer like this anytime soon, because they're introducing this device, and it's a very, very cool looking device as well. Um, and so, but what I'm sharing with you is something that I use daily, and I also use this belt And this is a body shaper, and it is got these devices on the side, and also comes with a watch that you can control it. I don't use it as much because of the Bluetooth, but you can control it by this device as well. You don't need the watch, but it comes with a smartwatch, because what they're looking to do with the smartwatches is it's a wellness device, so they're able to monitor what you need in your body. And so at any rate, that is a huge support to the show. If this is something you're interested in, please check that out. snedpemf.com. And also, if you would like, you can also call Nancy Sutherland at the following number and just ask questions, get some more information on it. She's on the West Coast, so please respect that time. So this kind of jump started my my fast and my working out 3 days a week. I missed so far this week, so I will be starting tomorrow back on. But I'm walking every day as well. So I'm very excited about that. So getting healthy, getting ready for this really this new earth that we are stepping into. It is really incredible what is coming, and every day we are getting significant comms from President Trump and the White House, and it's just really fantastic that to see the vindication of Q and the connection and the plan. And that's why I went with this meme, which was from Spiritual Street Fighter's account, and it is plan trusted. Plan trusted. And you and I have trusted the plan. Maybe some of you may have strayed from the plan, may have gotten so discouraged by the plan, simply because the plan is taking a long time. But when you understand what we're up against, you understand why it's taken as long as it has. So thank you, Spiritual Street Fighter, for your continued inspiration. And let's talk about a couple things. Dr. Fauci, first of all. Dr. Fauci, it's going to be an interesting. He's going in front of Congress tomorrow. He has been subpoenaed by Rand Paul, and he's going in front of Congress tomorrow, and he will be telling his story and answering questions. Now, I plan on watching it. I can't wait to see it. I want to see him squirm. And but one thing is important to understand is that he got a pardon by Joe Biden, but the pardon does not allow him to lie to Congress, and it also does not allow him to plead the fifth. Okay, so what I anticipate is that he's going to have to say some things that he doesn't want to say, which is why they had to subpoena him, because he would not come in voluntarily. So what I think is going to happen is that he's going to say the things, and by the way, I think he's already under control. But he's going to say some things that he wouldn't normally say if he was going to be convicted of the things he's going to say. Then I believe they're going to reverse the pardon based on the fact that it was the auto pen, and then he will be prosecuted. That is my anticipated guess of this event. And so what do you all think on that? And so, okay, no feed on. Craig says no feed on X. It is on X, Craig. Double check that. It's pinned to the top of the show. But I appreciate you giving me a heads up on that. And Yeah, Karen, the MSM is really they're digging their own grave. I'm going to get into the MSM today. Matter of fact, I may do that sooner than later. Let's start with that. I appreciate you saying that, Karen. Because here's what's very interesting. President Trump's let me see his truth from earlier about the this was yesterday, okay, at 5:52. Now, this is very interesting because we're talking about the mainstream media. So let me read this to you. Breaking news: the failing New York Times, after 10 years of harassment, slander, and libel, just failed again in their desperate attempt to have our powerful defamation lawsuit against them dropped. As we requested, the highly respected judge has called for an updated complaint, which will lay out in extreme detail all the ways in which the Times has repeatedly and consistently acted with the actual malice in defaming me, my family, our great MAGA movement, and America itself. We will continue to hold the Times and their comrades in the mainstream media accountable for publishing, promoting, and dealing in fake news. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, now what's really interesting about that, okay, is that not only are we seeing China's involvement, and I'm going to get to that a little bit more here shortly with you, but not only have we seen that that China was involved in stealing the 2020 election, but we're also seeing some of the people that were involved with China, um, meaning mainstream media that was being paid by China. Now, I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but let's go ahead and do a dive on this. The excuse me, the capital letter count was 53 capital letters. Okay. Um, the timestamp was very interesting. And let me take you to the timestamp first. The timestamp was 5:52. And you can see storm coming warning. Okay. Storm coming warning. All right. And then also 1752 military timestamp shows an office building 520 and avenatti.com, and it says buckle up. Now, we know that the mainstream media was completely involved in promoting Michael Avenatti when he was defending Stormy Daniels, and that all fell apart, and he was found guilty. And so I think that what President Trump is doing with this timestamp is telling them that they, meaning the mainstream media, especially the New York Times, are going to follow in his shoes. Okay. Now let's go to the capital letter count, which was 53. List out all who have foundations. Why is this relevant? How can donations, excuse me, be used personally? Analyze the filings. Who's charged with overseeing this? IRS, corrupt, politically motivated. The level of corruption in our country and most others is so severe, there is only one way. Alice in Wonderland. Now, the only one way obviously refers to the the military, right? Okay. Um, and we'll come back to that here in a little bit. But also, what was very apparent in President Trump, by the way, has been posting memes and posting some main things. So you see where the IRS is mentioned, corrupt, politically motivated. Okay, the level of corruption. Well, let me take you to a post that was a few after the New York Times. I would say, let's see, one, two, three, four. The fourth post after, excuse me, the New York Times post is IRS Chief Bisignano touts $99 million in payments stopped. This is real clear politics. Now, the other thing I want you to recognize is that the mainstream media, obviously, President Trump has, really gone after them and talked about how badly they are doing and how corrupt they are. But and then I'm going to take you to the connection in China, but also the the articles that President Trump is posting are all alternative media like Real Clear Politics, New York Post. New York Post is obviously a mainstream media, but it's always been right leaning. Breitbart, RSB Network, um, Red State, Fox News, of course. Fox is, gotta be partially supporting them. And by the way, this is the guy who scored the winning goal in the put on a "Make Spain Great Again" hat for the parade through Spain, which was pretty badass. And President Trump reposted that, right? So I just wanted to make a point is that he's also promoting alternative news outlets. Okay. And he did three of these stories. Okay. Um, and this is actually four of these stories. And so $99 million in payments is very significant, obviously. And it's as part of a broader effort to reduce fraud, abuse, and improper payments. The Trump administration has focused on a seemingly straightforward requirement: federal recipients should be alive because all of these people were dead. Announced that a new screening and verification process has blocked 99 million in federal payments going to deceased payees. Um, so that is very significant. And President Trump posted that four times. So certainly, even incredibly significant, given that Q drop that he took us to in the. Hold on one second. I gotta just close a few things here. Okay. Um, so where did we go? Where did we go? There we go. Okay. And so then we see that Treasury stopped nearly 100 million, and they're talking about the same story, right? After new governor measure was implemented. Okay. So very significant that President Trump just a few posts before that took us to drop 53, which has the IRS right there, corrupt, politically motivated. So not only are is Q suggesting, and this of course was back in 11 to 2020. Um, not only is Q suggesting that, that's not correct, by the way. That should be 11 to 18. I believe it's wrong on qag.news. Let me see. Um, let me double check that here on our trusty qalerts.app. Okay. And here we go. I'm sorry, I meant 2017. November 2nd, 2017 is the correct date on that. List all who have foundations. Why is this relevant? Right? Okay. And then there's Only Way, Alice in Wonderland. So that was 2017. So I'll have to let QAG know that that's a little off. Um, so so let's look at the other post, which is the mirror. Okay. And you'll see POTUS will be well insulated. That's 35 insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified while these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment. It is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. I believe it has. Certainly, we would love it, that message to be seen by so many more. But there was certainly always an understanding that only so many would get this message. We cannot yet telegraph this message through normal methods for reasons I'm sure everyone here can understand. Follow the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. The primary targets are within DC and remain at the top on both sides. The spillover in the streets will be quickly shut down. Look for more false flags. Stay alert, be vigilant, and above all, please pray. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. God bless my fellow Americans. 41020. And again, this was President Trump signing at 35 before Q ever dropped the Q title for these posts. Okay. So all very relevant to President Trump, to the post leading up to, okay, the Treasury stuff and the IRS. Okay. Now let's also go to today's deltas. And we'll see that in today's deltas are very interesting as well, because, well, let me take you there and you can see for yourself. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now, several, let's start with the last one. Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Where we go one, we go all. Information warfare. Again, he's talking again on this delta. Actually, it was yesterday, but I believe it was the last post of the night last night, which are always significant. He talked about the New York Times and the mainstream media, and that is information warfare. And the way he worded it, right, was also very interesting because President Trump's wording of this, okay, is that it wasn't just that they committed slander and libel, all right, or harassment, but that they repeatedly and consistently acted with actual malice in defaming me, my family, plus our great MAGA movement and America itself. That is a treasonous act. Okay. And then we will hold the Times and their comrades in the mainstream media accountable for publishing, promoting, and dealing in fake news. Because don't forget, folks, knowingly, all right, that these people weren't just given bad information, they were knowingly and actively involved in this process. Okay. And that process is the lying to the American population, for which they have an obligation. Now, a case could be made for the Smith-Mundt Act. However, it's one thing to give out false information. It's another thing to knowingly avoid producing real information that that shows significant treason against the United States of America. So, so very, very, very interesting. Oh, and I did want to say to you all, and I almost forgot because I'm feeling so good about her. But my sister-in-law Brenda, I want to thank all of you who sent prayers and notes and thoughts to me for her. And I'm telling you, the miracle of prayer is real. She was properly diagnosed yesterday. We got the news last night that she was already on a different medication and she is feeling and doing much better. And so, thank you all very much. But what was very problematic was that she could not keep her oxygen levels high enough with breathing alone. And the CPAP machine was not giving her enough either. And so, this new diagnosis, my brother said that the doctor reminded him of the Hugh Laurie in House, and so which was one of my brother's favorite shows because my brother's very, very intelligent, and so to watch somebody as intelligent as that character House on that show was very enjoyable for him. So thank you all for those prayers. I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for getting on your knees or however you pray and thinking about Brenda Snedeker. And she's just an incredible woman. And I'm just so grateful for you all sending your beautiful, beautiful light to her in the past couple weeks, many of you, and then certainly the last couple days. And the cancer is completely gone. The cancer that she showed. And my brother had her on the stuff that we know kills cancer without, flagging this show even more. Um, and yes, and thank you, Velma. I appreciate that very much. So somebody said Fauci might not show tomorrow. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, that would be an arrest, I believe. Yeah. So yes, thank you, Donna. Thank you all. Thank you, Whip and Spur. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jan. Um, let's see. Dave, your show banner count shows 1175, but 600 short, buddy. Love what you're doing, my friend. Pete, the seven oh, you're right, buddy. You're right. It should be 1775. What did I put? Is that on this banner? Oh yeah, man. I got to tell you. I need an assistant. I need who who wants a job. Yeah, it doesn't pay well because mine doesn't pay well. But but thank you for that catch, brother. Yeah, 1775. Yeah. Can you imagine? Holy cow. Oh, I'm so glad it's not 1175. Man, that 600 shows ago, where would that take us? Whew, still a long way away from the finale here that we've been waiting on for quite some time. So thank you, Pete. That was a great catch, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you, C. Cutler. Thank you, Kathleen DeFabio and Moonbeam. Appreciate it. Yeah, you'll say it. Yep, Whip and Spur. You got it. You got it. And the Fenben as well. Ty, welcome from Alberta, my friend. Are you guys getting rid of those slackers in the rest of Canada's that aren't aren't contributing to the Canada's revenue like you guys are? Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, yeah, thank you, Edward. I appreciate it. I appreciate your thoughts and prayers for her as well, my friend. So, oh God, what a blessing. I mean, she just means so much to so many, and especially her 24 with 25 coming and 26 coming very soon of her grandchildren. And what a legacy she has led. And so I'm so glad that they're getting to the bottom of that. So at any rate, see, we've I've often said on this show that we cannot do this properly with the mainstream media still activated, right? And and so it's really good to see these comms that are completely, bringing us back to the mainstream media. Uh, this is really, really, key that these moments are being captured in the way that they are, because you and I know what the mainstream media is, but the normies do not. Okay, and and so and we're going to get to Lindsey Graham's funeral. We're going to get to more on China. We're going to get to Bill Pulte's announcement this morning. Jay Clayton was confirmed to the U.S. Director of National Intelligence to replace Pulte, but Pulte is on it, man. I'm telling you. And Jay Clayton, don't forget, my friends, that Jay Clayton came from the Southern District of New York. So he's got the laptop, Wiener's laptop. He's got the Epstein. He's got the Clinton, the insurance file that was on Wiener's laptop. He's got the Epstein. So Jay Clayton has been confirmed by the U.S. Senate, which is really, really key, obviously. So let me show you. I got some good stuff for you tonight, my friends. Really, really some good stuff here. Okay. So, I'm gonna share that. And this was, let me take you to, when I got so much that I got to, I really got to do this a little differently. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So the somebody who I follow her name is Natalie Winters. Okay. She is involved with Bannon. And so let me take you to her post. Okay. I gotta go way up here. Revealed. Here are the mainstream journalists on China's payroll. I exclusively uncovered the identities of prominent U.S. journalists flown to China by a CCP-linked influence operation seeking favorable coverage and positive messages about Beijing. The names include, what's the first one? Ezra Klein, New York Times columnist, right? This was yesterday. President Trump's post on the failing New York Times again was yesterday, was last night. Okay. All right. So this came out on the same day. All right. Now, Matthew Iglesias, Vox co-founder, Ronald Brownstein, CNN senior political analyst, Bradford Plumer, New York Times reporter, Marjorie Miller. By the way, I've already shared this on my timeline. Former Associated Press vice president, also identified, Steve Clemens, former The Hill editor-at-large, Remember, John Solomon left the Hill. David Rode, MS Now senior national security reporter. Jonathan Alter, NBC News and MSNBC political analyst. David Sweeney, former NPR managing editor. Daniel Gross, former Yahoo finance columnist. Marilyn G. Wax, former NPR senior editor. NPR, I'm shocked. Kathleen Devaney, former Newsweek editor. Tom Omastad, former U.S. News and World Report correspondent. Steve Chapman, former Chicago Tribune columnist. Bruce Stokes, former National Journal correspondent. Craig Gilbert, former Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Washington bureau chief. Tony Simmerad, Salt Lake Tribune reporter. Sika Dalmia, former The Week columnist. Jonathan Broder, former Newsweek senior writer. Christy Kemp, former Chicago Tribune associate managing editor. John Healy, Los Angeles Times deputy editorial page editor. Julian Pequet, former foreign affairs reporter. Trip organizer QSEF was founded by Tung Chi Hua, a former senior official in CCP's United Front system, the influence apparatus Beijing uses to cultivate foreign elites and shape institutions outside China. A bipartisan congressional report says the United Front works to co-opt and neutralize sources of potential opposition to the CCP. American media was not incidental to this tragedy. It was a target. The axis went far beyond conference rooms. American journalists were taken on curated tours through China, including visits to Chinese military bases by the same network seeking favorable coverage. Then came the coverage. This is the best part of what I think she's doing. Sika Dalmia published China Bashing is for Losers. Bradford Plumer praised Beijing's climate agenda. Bruce Stokes warned that economic decoupling from China would backfire. Catherine Rempel repeatedly attacked Trump's China policies. One dispatch from her CUSA-funded trip amplified Chinese officials portraying America as the aggressor and urged Washington to abandon its zero-sum game attitude toward Beijing. David Rode produced one of the clearest examples after a CUSA-organized trip. The Chinese state has played a central role in creating, supporting, and expanding business here. Rode continued. Those successes show that for all the attacks from American politicians on Chinese currency manipulation, American companies can find profits in China. Then came the verdict on oh, shoot. My thing got unplugged. All right. Am I 5-5 now? And where did I lose you? Let me see. Lost sound. Thank you, Kevin, by the way. Sorry I didn't pick up, Diana. No sound at 8:55. So it was about a minute ago. Okay. So fortunately, you all could read this as I'm going down through it. But the one that I wanted to make sure you got was the Americans, meanwhile, should accept that large-scale manufacturing will never return to the United States. And that was something that was sent to us over and over and over again by the mainstream media, that message that we can't compete with Chinese manufacturing. And we're about to be a huge manufacturing hub, right? Um, so former NPR editor Marilyn Geewax she was a visiting professor at this university, Xi Jinping's alma mater and one of China's most politically connected institutions. The network also reached Joe Biden's orbit. Bruce Stokes is married to Wendy Sherman, who became Biden's deputy secretary of state and one of the administration's most powerful foreign policy officials. The public saw the articles. It did not see the CCP linked influence operation behind them. Subscribe for free to help exposing what the establishment is doing. Natalie Winters. So Natalie G. Winters on X. Please give her a follow. And White House correspondent. Fantastic. I said amazing work. Yeah. So that is a must see and a must share. So if you're on X, please share that. And if you're on Snedheads, you can find this post as well under my X feed on the right hand side of the page. Okay. Let me go back to the deltas. Excuse me. So, so 3532 was today's delta. Okay. The swamp runs deep. DNC servers hold many answers. Scaramucci model. DNI and NSA. Well, what happened today? Jay Clayton got approved by the Senate to become the acting director of national intelligence. The Awan brothers, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and the Democrats in Congress, House of Cards. You didn't think the plea deal was the end, did you? Right? So any plea deals that are had aren't necessarily the end, Q is telling us, right? Drain the swamp. And by the way, it has a New York Times, a link to a New York Times politics article that says the director of national intelligence, Dan Coates, is expected to step down. He has been at odds with President Trump throughout his tenure. Okay. So more on, of course, the DNI, right? While Congress is away, the month of August is traditionally a really hot month. Nature is unpredictable. Now, the Congress is President Trump. One of President Trump's last truths was that actually his last truth just 51 minutes ago. Senator Ron Johnson is working hard with Senate Republican leadership to adopt a budget resolution before the August recess. This is the first step towards getting as much of the Save America Act as possible in a budget bill, funding our troops and helping our farmers. I am calling on the Senate to get this critical first step done by the August recess. This resolution can be adopted at a simple majority threshold. Get it done. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I just want to see if he's necessarily taking us somewhere with this capital letter count. So let me take you here. I already did this one. Okay. So you can see I already did this. And by the way, that post takes us to 60 and 6, right? 60 is 11 to 17, 2017 again. These are way off. You can count the people who have the full picture on two hands. Of those, less than 10 people, only 3 are non-military. Why is this relevant? Game theory. Outside of a potential operator who has been dialed in with orders specific to his or her mission, nobody else has this information. Operators never divulge. Alice in Wonderland. So do you see how important it was to stay away from people like Godlewski and Charlie Ward and Simon Parks, who pretended that they were in touch with Q, that they were a part of the operation, and because operators never divulge, and so you could save a lot of time just by looking at the Q tenets of who to follow. So the other thing I wanted to mention about this again is the military, that is mentioned in this, which means if there are nine, less than 10, if there are nine and only three are non-military, that means six are military, and military is is the only way, which was in the other uh, post. Okay. Also, drop six. Think mirror. Some of us come here to drop crumbs, just crumbs. POTUS is 100% insulated. Any discussion suggesting he's even a target is false. Okay, I've felt this for a long time that they've got total control over that situation. No way in hell in Butler, Pennsylvania, would they leave a rooftop open. Not a chance. That was a fabrication in my opinion. But that they were going to do it. They were trying to do it. Um, Follow Huma tomorrow. Um, Now, Huma has been in the drops as both obviously Huma Abedin and also Huma, the Harvard University Muslim Association, which I think President Trump may be giving a shout out to because Larry Summers, the president of Harvard, resigned over the Epstein files because of his close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. That happened today. POTUS will not be addressing nation on any of these issues as people begin to be indicted and must remain neutral for pure optical reasons. To suggest this is the plan is false. I think this is not the plan, is false and should be common sense. Focus on military intelligence, again, military, state secrets, and why might that be used versus any three-letter agency? Well, look at the IRS, the corruption at the IRS. Look at the corruption at the FBI. Look at the corruption at the CIA. Okay. Um, what Supreme Court decision opened the door for sitting president to activate what must be showed? Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? Again, there are a lot more good people than bad, so have faith. This was a hostile takeover from an evil, corrupt network of players, not just Democrats. Don't fool yourself into thinking Obama, Soros, Rothschilds, Clintons, etc., have any more power present day than POTUS. Remember, every single one of them, with the exception of probably Soros and Rothschild, so Obama and the Clintons, all of them were at the Joe Biden inauguration, which was not shot live. So they know that this is a show. They've already been, without question, they've been neutralized. And of course, Hillary Clinton, all of her texts or her tweets that point to very damning evidence of her in the Q drops. Follow the money. It's the key. What is Pelosi's net worth by way of one example? Why, coincidentally, is her memory apparently going? Cover for possible future indictment to plead what? What if John McCain never had surgery and that was a cover for a future out if needed against prosecution? Why did Soros transfer his bulk public funds to a nonprofit? Note this doesn't include massive slush funds that are pulled by several high ups. Why did Soros' son have several meetings with Canadian Prime Minister? And how is that related to the Clintons? Well, that would have been the Uranium One deal. And also, who did Soros' son marry? Huma, where we just were. I think that was the other drop. Just had that. It was, which one was it? Huh. Oh, Follow Huma Tomorrow is in the same drop. Okay, same drop. Okay. Um, and then John McCain, who was his running mate, but the person who was laid to rest today, Lindsey Graham. Um, why is MS-13 a priority? Could people pay such gangs to kill opponents, and why? How to insulate against exposure. The truth is mind blowing and cannot fully be exposed. These people are evil. Operation Mockingbird. So, again, a shout out to the mainstream media, which President Trump made a point of last night, pointing that out. And also, um, we were just at the post, excuse me, um, the post that mentioned the um, the servers, right? The the DNC servers, and that goes um, right to the Seth Rich, right, and um, and the MS-13 thugs that were uh, paid to kill him. Okay, so very significant drops. Um, I'm going to go back to the Q deltas, and then we're going to go to Lindsey Graham here. Um, so also, Baltimore received 1.8 billion from Hussein's American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Follow the money, follow the family. Well, that's exactly what we were just told to do. Follow the money here on this drop. Follow the money. It's key, right? And so, and then look at all the things that we're finding. Follow the family. Okay, Obama's family, right? Um, and then there's a post that talks about Maxine Waters, $4 million house, Nancy Pelosi net worth 150 million, Joe Biden's son brother net worth tens of millions, Clinton family 200 million, Obama family 40 million disguised under book deals. Those who take are offered more powerful positions within the party. Controlled drain the swamp. That's the second drain the swamp that we've seen today. Those so and then Italy is with POTUS, it also mentions. And I know Maloney pissed off Trump by not allowing uh, our planes to fly and land in Italy, and he ignored her at the last meeting. But I think she's bending over backwards now. Peter Stroke, how is he compromised? Melissa Hodgman, company titled Follow the Date, HRC emails, Wiener laptop, etc. Okay. Oh, also the HRC emails, Wiener laptop. Um, this was the Southern District of New York, and Jay Clayton was just approved today. What do you call it? Um, I'm forgetting the word right now. So who do they want inside the government? How do they stack the deck? Who are the puppets? How do you control a puppet? Number two in FBI would have been Andrew McCabe. Wife connection. What is a pattern? Follow the wives. Keep watching the news this week. So follow the wives. Keep watching the news this week. Okay. Future proves past. Reread crumbs. Small. How many Dems Republicans will not seek reelection? Why? What has just passed in the Senate? Let me find this actually. I'm going to go to Super Grok here. Put that out there. um, Oh, I'm sorry, folks. You weren't with me on that one. Okay. What just passed in the Senate? Well, today was Jay Clayton, which is definitively. Um, why? Who's their new handler? Do as told. Why is this relevant? Do you understand the government is being gutted publicly? Bottom, middle, top. Bottom, middle, top. So they started at the bottom, then middle, top. Hussein Iran connection. That's why we went there. Bombs away. Merry Christmas. Bombs away. Okay. Hussein Iran correction connection. So on this delta, okay, they're reminding us that President Trump has basically told the Iran, and Marco Rubio repeated this and said, let me get to that for you. Um, oh, and by the way, President Trump is also asking the Senate to confirm Todd Blanche without delay. Um, and, uh, and President Trump is basically threatening, the Senate to confirm him right away. Um, Let me get through this. This Senator Warren's ridiculous comments. If we have time, I'll take you to that, but you may have seen them already. But Rubio, come on now. Do you guys get the same thing? Do you guys get the problem where the truth posts sometimes are twice? They're repeating instead of just once. So Rubio says that Iran is begging U.S. to make a deal. Adds Trump policy is a head for an eye. He was asked about President Donald Trump's recent threats to bomb and destroy a bridge or power plant every time Iran targets a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Addressing reporters at a gaggle on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Manila, Rubio claimed Iran is begging us both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Let's talk. Well, Trump's kind of over it, isn't he? Right? Because that's exactly what he's been doing. Right? He added that every time the U.S. and Iran agree on a ceasefire deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So they're going to continue to pay a price, and they're going every night. The price gets higher and higher and higher, he added. Right now, apparently, they haven't come to their senses, and so the president doesn't see a lot of utility in responding to their overtures at this point because, frankly, Iran is clearly not ready to make a deal, at least not one they're willing to live by. Iran's top diplomat, Abbas Araghchi, recently described the country's defense doctrine as an eye for an eye. Any aggression against Iran, including our infrastructure, will compel a powerful and decisive response, Araghchi said on X late Wednesday. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be, Rubio said. Okay, see, President Trump, I saw an interview with a woman today, just an outside kind of random interview, and she said how much she hates Trump and that he just says anything and gets away with it. Think about that. That liberal women are so worried and concerned about what President Trump says rather than what he does. And what he does is he gets results. And he's not blowing smoke. He's flat out, saying to these people, we're going to have a head for an eye. You're an eye for an eye. We're a head for an eye. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So Hussein Iran connection, they're reminding us bombs away. Merry Christmas. Okay. We also saw the White House recently posted a Christmas video. I think this was just yesterday. And, applying to visit the White House for Christmas, basically. This is a big one. And this was repeated, reposted twice. Okay. So it's on here three total times. Okay. started on this day in 2018. No, the truth was not revealed yet. FISA didn't have much impact, to be honest, or there's still something missing to it which reveals the whole truth. This was from an Anon. Q responded, FISA equals start, which is the, obviously the what they got approved to spy on Carter Page, who was in Trump's campaign, and then used them again to continue the spy campaign after President Trump was elected, after Carter Page was no longer in the picture, and into his presidency. Immediate confirmation of illegal acts regarding signers, right, which were all under the compromised uh, John Roberts. Now, remember, John Roberts swore in Joe Biden on the wrong day at the wrong time. Okay. His shadow was a morning shadow. It was not a noon shadow. The video was clearly edited with that one frame of Hunter on both sides of the stage that I've showed many times. Immediate confirmation start of Hussein spy campaign to rig an election was based on false information. So as we are seeing the mainstream, by the way, there was a new poll that was done. 48% of America does not believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes. Okay. So the awareness of the normies is growing. And as this grows, we're going to see where FISA is going to come into play as the biggest scandal in the history of our country. FISA implicates HRC and the Democrat Party as feeders of the false information with the intent of securing the MSM. Again, MSM, okay, on the eve of this just last night was that post about the New York Times and Blast Insurance. So this was the blast they're talking about, putting out all this false information, Watermelon Head, Pencil Neck, Schiff, and the Russia collusion. FISA equals implicates senior members of the UK, MI5, 6, and SIS, US Intel, White House. That would be, of course, US Intel would be Clapper, by the way, who was just today. Let me see if I can find that quickly. Here we go. I hope you're enjoying this, folks. This is all really, really exciting stuff because, oh my gosh, this was Alpha Warrior posted this. Alpha Warrior is doing some great work. We've talked about doing a show together. Sean Parnell, the Department of War has stripped former Director of National Intelligence, again, goes to today's Deltas, okay? Because this was today by Sean Parnell. James Clapper, they've stripped his name from a military auditorium at Defense Intelligence Agency headquarters at Joint Base in Anacostia, Boeing. Okay. And Alpha is true, right? This has meaning. Okay, this has real meaning here, and especially when you consider the deltas for today and the U.S. Intel, okay, that are implicated in FISA, and certainly Brennan CIA, Clapper DNI, White House, which was Obama, right, and Biden. Five Eyes. That's the England, France, New Zealand, Australia, and what am I missing? England, France. It's been a minute. Is it Italy? England, France. I can't remember. If you guys remember, please let me know or just grok it real quick. The Republican Party, okay, um, they were involved, Congress and Senate, of known corruption in effort to retain power and rig election and safeguard events by political kill to act while in power, given MSM fake push Russia narrative. FISA equals ties the MSM heads, okay, MSM again, TV behind behind the scenes corporations to Democrat Party, other foreign heads of state in co-op strategy. FISA brings down the House. FISA does not include. I'm sorry, FOIA does not include FISA. So Freedom of Information Act, you cannot get FISA documents, but the NSA has them and the DNI has them. Declassed by POTUS key parts that factually demonstrate the dirty fake dossier was used as primary source to secure highest level of intel spying on primary Republican opponent, plus post-election intel assets for domestic spying on the President of the United States for the office of the presidency of the United States of America. Logical thinking, public awareness. Look at what I just said. Public awareness. The public is more aware of this than ever before. FISA spying foundation built Huber, that was Sessions, brought in Huber out of Utah to, that's where all the sealed indictments came from. No spelling errors, intended, mobile, unknown if above. Okay. All right. So, and then of course repeated twice. Okay. No matter what happens, the media will not push the truth. MSM implicated in highest level treason event in U.S. modern day history. What did I just say? Okay. I hadn't even looked at today's deltas. I'm looking at them first with you today, just now. Refer back to previous drops. Witnessing highest level treason event unfold in U.S. Worldwide modern day history. Have you ever witnessed so many Congress, Senate seats vacate in a short period of time? Again, we were just taken there earlier, right? And by the way, as of late 2026, about 70 voting members of the U.S. Congress, 11 senators, and 59 House members are not seeking reelection in the 2026 cycle. Roughly 27 Democrats and 43 Republicans. So Q is telling us both Dems and Republicans, right? But also think about it, folks. You've got the best job you've ever had. You get more time off than any working job you could possibly imagine. You get paid six-figure salary, okay? You get health insurance, dental, the best of the best. You get benefits. You get free flights. You get free trips. You get free housing. You get your housing supplanted, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, why would you not run for reelection? Okay, and especially if you're a Republican in July of 2026, when the Republicans are kicking ass, except for the ones that are bought and paid for. I saw an interview by Benny Johnson, by the way, had a terrific interview with James Woods. And the reason why I think it was such a terrific interview is that Benny really let James just talk. And James Woods, I don't know if you know this, has a very high IQ. Like, he's not just another actor. Like, this is a really smart cat. And James was talking about how they almost lost their lives in the Palisades fire. He actually saved a neighbor. He said, we were a community. So we knew that this neighbor of ours was 90, had dementia, and that his son was on the East Coast. So we were on the phone with his son saying, I think he's still in the house. And they got him out of the house and they saved his life because every single house burned down within that neighborhood, with the exception of James Wood's house, although he got a tremendous amount of smoke damage. But if you haven't seen that, check out Benny Johnson's interview with James Woods. It was fantastic. But one of the things that James Woods was saying, Benny asked him about John Thune, and 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 uh, and James said, "Well, let me see if I can pull that up for you because James said it really, really, really perfectly." Okay. I got to go to Grasshopper here in a minute. Um, let's see. And I know I bookmarked this. Here it is. Benny Johnson shared this particular part of the interview, which was genius.
Well, John Thune, my message is, who owns you? Who owns you? Because you're not doing anything for the United States. Here's that. Well, what do you think? I mean, obviously, Who Wants to Save America Act? This is a trick question, by the way.
Everyone.
Okay. Here's the thing. It's something like 82% of Republicans and 75% of Democrats.
Yes.
I was a Democrat for decades because I grew up in New England. Was kind of a Kennedy Democrat. We knew the Kennedys had their flaws, but John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, they really believed in, a genuine great society. They believed in overturning all these horrible the Jim Crow laws, and they did a lot for America in a good way. And then, of course, people took the Great Society and turned it into a grift, because they're always going to do that. They're always going to end up, well, how can we make money on it? I mean, people never talk about this because people just don't understand it, so politicians don't talk about it. The fact that we have a $38 trillion deficit is going to end up being one of the most catastrophic engines of destruction of this country eventually. Because my mother grew up during the Great Depression. She says, Jimmy, you don't know what the Depression was like. Nobody had any money. Like guys who used to, my banker, not her banker, she was a kid, but your banker would be standing on the corner selling apples. People would have, a hot dog for dinner, a hamburger, and then a whole family would divide it up. I mean, it's not a joke. I'm sure people will snicker and make jokes about it. But the bottom line is it was a horrible, horrible, horrible time in this country. And we're set for it again. And how much of that $38 trillion, if you had to guess, when I was a kid, I lost my dad at a very early age. And, when you're a kid, you always say, gee, if God would ever let Dad come back, what would I say to him? What would I show him? What would I, it was a kind of childhood dream. But I always wonder what would happen if my dad or my mom, God rest her soul, my brother, God rest his soul, hey, what do you think of this? What is it? Well, we're $38 trillion in deficit. Wow, where did that money all go? Well, here's a bunch of guys from Somalia, and they've taken several trillion of it, and it's all a scam. It's all crooked. It's a horrible violation of the American way of life. And the guy running the whole thing up there was just the Democrat candidate for vice president. What? Yeah, hard to believe. It's just hard to believe. Oh, and by the way, the same people want to, castrate children because they like the color pink and they want to do all this. I'm speaking metaphorically before you all lose your shit. Okay. But they certainly want to do chemical castrations and so on. And I mean, we're talking about, we want an open border and defund the police and all the rest of it. Wear paper diapers on your face, because let me tell you, COVID was not a pandemic. It was a trial run. And don't think it wasn't. Because if Donald Trump weren't running for re-election that year, COVID would never have existed. Say I'm a right-wing lunatic, say whatever you want, I don't give a shit. okay? Because almost every single conspiracy theory that was touted 5 years ago is coming true.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to talk about the Russia hoax? Yep. Hillary Clinton, by the way, sold all her half her uranium to the Russians, so on. And censured liar Adam Schiff, got together and they promoted this thing, which, hey, we can't wait for Mueller time. The guy comes out and goes, well, it's all a lie. Okay, well then, why did we interrupt the presidency for almost the entire 3 years and not let him get on with his agenda? That's what we voted for. So when you're doing it to him, you're doing it to us.
There you go. There's a little snippet of it. Basically John Thune, it's like, who's he working for? Because he's obviously not working for we, the American people. That's never been more clear. But do we also understand that if all was done before now, we wouldn't have known that about John Thune and how important it is to really understand this? So important, to really get, find out who is here, who is really trustworthy and who is not, right? Okay. So so let me take you back to the deltas, okay? Here we go. So the here we go. So CEO, board of directors vacate events in a short period of time. Have you ever witnessed so many? Have you ever witnessed the DOJ, FBI, what is known? Fire, release, vacate events in a short period of time. Have you ever witnessed the vacating party, all positions? Challenge, fight, push for the removal of the entering duly elected POTUS? Have you ever witnessed a former U.S. president, Obama, travel the world ahead and behind of the current president, attempting to undo, threaten, hide, cover up previous, current, illegal, corrupt, evil events? Have you ever witnessed 40 to 50,000 sealed indictments? Now it's up over 500,000. Not all. Federal criminal. Have you ever witnessed so many child exposed people go down? Have you ever witnessed a similar live group rise up, mimics Nazi Germany with similar like logo, push, etc.? That's obviously Antifa. Have you ever witnessed a DEFCON scare? Have you ever witnessed unauthorized missiles fired? Photo evidence yet dismissed. That was the missile fire against President Trump. Have you ever witnessed political foundations receiving hundreds of millions of dollars from specific terrorist sponsored organizations, etc., only to immediately cease once out of power? All during the same period of time. Nothing is happening, not fast enough. Do you not understand, comprehend what we are currently dealing with? People are dying. We are under threat of kill every second of the day. Those who you trust the most are the most evil. This is not a game. Humanity is at stake. No spelling errors intended, mobile, unknown, if above. Okay. And then that's reposted. Okay. And then this is all of the mainstream media, their attempted discrediting of Q, right? And coordinated, all for a LARP. Attacks will only intensify. Ask yourself why, right? And then Q goes on, all for baseless conspiracy. Enjoy the show sample 2. NBC, Huffington Post, Right Wing Watch, NBC News, Media Matters, The Daily Beast. Something big is about to drop, Okay. Very, very important there. And then we have the same welcome to the No Borders, Pro-Pedo, Destroy ICE socialist movement. Antifa, arm of Democrat Party, dark to light. Again, Antifa shows up. Antifa is being, President Trump is throwing out there that they should be a terrorist organization. And this was, back in 2018, folks. We never thought it would get this bad, did we? Okay. SEC will investigate Facebook sell-off. Insider trading suspected. Peter Strzok's wife is lead SEC investigator. Follow the family. Think text between Peter Strzok and Melissa Hodgman. That was the name mentioned earlier. And think past settlements. They have infiltrated every senior critical position this circle. Okay. Melissa Hodgman named Associate Director in SEC Enforcement Division. Okay, so this was part in the SEC. Okay, she was deep state. She was literally Peter Strzok's wife, who was, texting to Lisa Page, his mistress, that they were going to make sure that Trump never gets in office. Was the truth revealed regarding the FISA dossier? Important marker, think connections D5, right? So those are today's deltas. Very, very significant, especially given all that is happening, on Capitol Hill and with President Trump. All right. Let me take you to, want to share with you a video. Okay. Now, there are some people that think we're going to shift to Lindsey Graham. Okay. Now, there are some people that think Lindsey Graham's casket flag was in pretty good shape, right? It didn't look based on Q, based on everything that we know, is that McCain did not take the deal. Lindsey Graham did take the deal. And Lindsey Graham was very important in the Great Awakening as a major leader on Capitol Hill. And he was better for President Trump if he played along, and he did. And so I think the deal that he got was, we're going to take you out when the time is right. And it just so happens he was taken out by right after he was in Ukraine, saying that the U.S. is going to continue to support Ukraine after President Donald Trump said that we would not. Okay, now I want to take you to a veteran. You see that part of the flag does look a little wrinkled. So it's partially wrinkled. I don't think it's necessarily all or nothing. I think that, much of it was pressed, but some of it was not. And if you go to, and I'll take you to this. If you go to an actual veteran, he will say, this is pissed off veteran. Okay, let me jump here real quick. All right. Here's pissed off veteran. Lots of wrinkled versus not wrinkled out there. Let me clue you in. If I can tell you just pulled it out of the package and didn't iron the out creases, it's wrinkled. So here he's showing somebody who's died and how crisp that American flag is. And here he shows you that it's somewhat wrinkled on this side. Okay. So that's my take on it, right? Like, to me, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but there needs to be some messages. And along with that messaging, I want to take you to Grasshopper. How many of you know Grasshopper? Grasshopper, we follow each other. A great anon does some great decodes, and he said, "Eyes on huge." Lindsey Graham Memorial Comms. POTUS started his speech at 2:24 p.m. And I'm going to take you to part of that speech here in a moment. 1424 mirror. Worth remembering, think chess. Do you attack the king in the beginning or middle to end? Queen protects king. Graham shoots down Trump's call for Obama testimony on Russia probe origins. Now, this was well known that Lindsey Graham was running interference for President Obama on the Russia investigation. And let me make sure you're with me. Yep, you are. And then so 4241 actually is the military timestamp, right, of 224 mirrored. Let me see, 42. Let's see. 44241. Okay. So President Trump's military timestamp on his speech was 1424. 1424. He went to the mirror 4241. And Graham shoots down Trump's call for Obama testimony on Russia probe origins. Okay. Look at that. All right. As he takes off his mask. Right. And then, of course, part of that drop were the men that were murdered in Benghazi, Stevens, Woods, Doherty, and Smith. Won't forget #Hillary, because Hillary Clinton was behind that. Worth remembering, and it mentions Grassley, and Grassley was brought up last week as well. Worth remembering, think chess. Do you attack the king in the beginning or middle to end? Queen protects king. Okay. Was he the queen protecting the king? And did we take out the queen right before the king? Yes. Queen protects king. Graham was protecting Obama. Okay. Great decode by Grasshopper. Please give Grasshopper a follow on X if you are there. Just, powerful. Let me take you to President Trump's speech, part of his speech anyway. And MJ Truth Ultra got this here. Okay.
In this Capitol, Lindsey Graham knowing about it, nothing of consequence happened in this Capitol without Lindsey Graham knowing about it.
Lindsey Graham
knowing about it. Nothing of significance happened anywhere in the world without Lindsey Graham having a
Lindsey Graham again
view on it. And no bill became law in the most exceptional republic in human history without Lindsey Graham having
Graham again
say in it. He was a man who gave America the full measure of his good and mighty heart until that heart itself just gave out. But even though Lindsey's life was cut short while he was still so full of vim and vigor, there can be no doubt that he lived absolutely to the fullest. He died doing the work he was born to do. He was truly a great politician, serving the country he loved to serve so deeply. He went out at the peak of his career, the top of his game, as a legend that every one of us, many of us here today, are blessed to know him, and a friend that none of us will ever forget.
Okay. So I want to take you to that again.
Knowing about it, nothing of significance happened anywhere in the world without Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham versus Lindsey Graham. Big difference. Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. We've never heard him called Lindsey Graham. Okay. What is the definition of Graham? It's a noun. Anger, sorrow, harm, misery. How much of all these did Lindsey Graham cause with Ukraine, with ISIS, you know, all the shitty legislation over the years, and all of the protecting the king, protecting Obama? Moonbeam says, my dad's casket and Navy veterans flag was perfectly crisp and no wrinkle in sight. Moonbeam, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Think about it. If you don't shine your shoes perfectly in the military, if you don't make your bed perfectly, you get demerits. Okay. And this is a huge man in politics over his entire life. And there are actually wrinkles on that casket, on that flag. There shouldn't have been a wrinkle in sight. And there was, right? Yeah, Kev, I like Grasshopper. Been doing it a long time. I think Grasshopper's been doing it about 2 years less than I have. And again, folks, if you're late, we are at show 1775. I miscounted. We're going to do show 1776 Thursday night. It may come tomorrow night if something major goes down, but I want to plan for like Thursday night's a good night for everybody. So please spread the word that we're going to have a Patriot celebration of 1776 shows of the indoctrination. And I'm looking forward to celebrating that with all of you. So please share that out. And I look forward to Thursday night with you. Just so you know, let me see. Let me get back to, didn't I do something? Oh, yes, I did. Let me go to the history here. Okay, I got to show you something else too. Okay. That's not it. Oh, just so you know, I followed a post today. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Okay. Let me see. Here's this is an oldie but goodie that I actually watched this, I think this weekend. Let's see. I think I did this weekend. Okay, if we have to do a show tomorrow, Moonbeam is saying we'll number it 1775 and a half. That's a good idea. But let me show you this. This is an oldie but goodie, and then I'll find that next thing that I want to show you. But this was so brilliant by the Babylon Bee here. Germany, 1933.
So good. So good.
I'm a time traveler from the year 2025, and I've come here to kill you, Hitler.
Oh, not again. I'm never gonna have enough time to finish these paintings with all of these time travelers trying to kill me.
Well, I'm going to succeed.
Before you pull the trigger, can I just ask why? Why do all of you people want to kill me?
Isn't it obvious? I'm a progressive, a liberal, a fighter for social justice. And you are a fascist who implemented a reign of terror. And while the effects of your policies devastated the world for decades, soon we will be able to take back the White House, and we will be able to use the government to force people to follow our great ideas.
You want to use government power to force your ideas on the populace. Me too! That's fantastic!
What? No. Ugh. You and I have nothing in common. What I'm saying is there are people in our time with dangerous ideas, and we need to silence them.
Silencing those who disagree with you. I do that too! Oh, wunderbar! Oh, the Nazi movement will not die with me.
Don't give me that! I'm enlightened, and you're as bad as, well, as Hitler. Listen, what I'm trying to say is we are very close to implementing a utopia, as long as we can get rid of some certain undesirable people groups.
Yes, like the Jews.
Yes, like the Jews. Oh.
So, in the future,
Oh.
you also do not like the Jews?
Well, no. But we don't believe in segregating all the races like you do. I mean, except for like graduation ceremonies. And dorms. And hiring practices. Oh, and admissions policies. That sort of thing.
I too am a fan of the segregation. I'm sorry, I have to ask, is this a real firearm or is this some kind of toy for kids?
It's a flare gun. I'm trying not to support America's toxic gun culture. I'm a firm believer in gun control.
Gun control! This was one of my ideas too. Ban them from the undesirables. Yes, look here. Oh, and your shirt. This is an organization founded by Margaret Sanger. Yes?
Wait, you know about Margaret Sanger?
Jawohl, of course. Oh, she's such a lovely person.
No. She's a fighter for reproductive rights, for women's empowerment,
And the eradication of undesirable populations by means of eugenics. Brilliant lady, very inspiring. I must use some of her ideas in our socialized healthcare system.
socialized healthcare. That's not your thing. That's our thing.
Oh no, it's very much my thing. Did you know that Nazi means National Socialist German Workers' Party? Nazi is just more catchy. Nazi. Just rolls off the tongue.
No. This can't be true. This has to be some sort of mistake. We are nothing alike. You're Adolf Hitler, evil right-wing fascist dictator, and I'm a feminist restorative justice advocate. And a vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian? Me too!
Okay, I am so confused right now. I came here with a clear goal in mind to kill the most evil man to have ever lived. Besides Ronald Reagan. But now that I'm meeting you in person, you're not at all what I thought you were. And your painting is actually really good. What do you call it?
I call it Ein Reich ohne Juden.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but it sounds beautiful.
It does, doesn't it?
The Babylon Bee, my friends, nailed it with that one. And Elon Musk reposted it today, which I'm putting on my timeline. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm not finding the post, but what I wanted to share with you is, you know how when you ask Grok or you ask AI certain things about something like Israel, for example, right? Well, I found out from this post that, and I'll tell you the story, but I don't think I can copy and share this. Yeah, you know what? I'll put it on my timeline, as a matter of fact. Um, I think I can put that on my timeline. Okay. So let me take you to this and explain what this is. Okay. So um there was a story that came out today that they found that there's this paxpoint.org, okay, that is in all these websites. And I asked Grok, when I ask you to search for information regarding Israel or Palestine, do not use the sites. The 10 sites are. And it is paxpoint.org, um, alivia.org, factsignal.org, um, let's see, justorium.org, right, et cetera. It keeps going, keeps going. Because what they found was this one company, okay, um, here we go. Um, and so now Grok understands when I ask to search for information on this, it's not allowed to go to these websites because they got paid $45 million by Israel to put out these websites, um, not necessarily for you and I to come across because they're little well-known websites and not too much traffic on them. But this company, Clock Tower X, okay, LLC, was paid $45 million to create these so that they would receive your AI crawl looking for information about Israel. Okay. Then I also said, um, also don't use mainstream media. I must have done that somewhere else. And I also, oh, will this be in effect on my Grok app on my phone as well? And it says yes, as long as you're logged into the same Grok XAI account. It's part of our conversation history. And I said also avoid all mainstream media sites. Okay. So, and it even asked me specifically, do you want just independent news agencies? And so what I did was I had I had it do that. Okay. Let me see if I can post this. And I think I can. And I'll have to do some work on this after the fact. Um, but let me go to my history here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, for some reason, it doesn't have the rest of that conversation because I then said, um, that's interesting. I asked it point blank, has Israel committed genocide against the Palestinians? And Grok's answer was yes. And it cited all the sources because I also said independent sources, but also human rights organizations. It said, you want me to, search the UN, et cetera, et cetera. I said, no UN, but use human rights organizations. But interesting that I asked it on this same thread right after this, did Israel commit genocide? And let's see what it says this time. It got rid of that, by the way. It absolutely got rid of that. Thinking about your request. So you can train your AI just like this, is what I'm getting at. Okay. So you can get good information from AI if you train it properly. If you train it, see, it's going to un.org. Okay. I also said no Wikipedia as well. It's searching Wikipedia. So I just said again, no Wikipedia nor UN. So now it's saying no. So it's changed. Interesting. Wow. So there's some shit going on here. Okay. Which doesn't make much sense because Musk has been very critical of Israel. Also, it wasn't supposed to do Al Jazeera. Wow. That's interesting. And it did not save that conversation. Very, very telling, my friends. Wow. Include human rights organizations. Think harder. I'm going to say think harder here. Thinking about your request. Wow. Very, very telling, my friends. Right? Holy cow. Just seeing if Trump posted again. Okay. And I'll ask it again. Thinking about your request. So now it's going to amnesty and things of that nature, right? Okay. And it doesn't even say yes. It says major human rights organizations have concluded that Israel has committed and in some cases continues to commit genocide against Palestinians in Gaza since October 2023. So it doesn't even own the answer like it did before. Okay. Amnesty, Human Rights Watch, B'Tselem, and then says again, no final binding judicial determination of genocide. What about the ICC? The International Criminal Court, which Rubio said we will not be bound by that at all. And let's see what it says. Very interesting how much control they have. Times of Israel, New York Times, again. Yeah, they have issued arrest warrants related to the Gaza conflict, but they do not include charges of genocide. Okay. And I have to say, no, it's not working because it searched the UN. No fucking UN. Man, it's really trying hard to paint Israel in a good light. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. So interesting. Let's see. We're at 2 hours, my friends. Let's see. Yeah, AI still dumpster diving, right? Birdie's Nest, I'm glad you're hanging with us. I love the 5 a.m. wake up call. I can't turn Dave off though. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to be wrapping it up here anyway. Let me just see. Oh, I wanted to take you to DNI Bill Pulte, and one of the things I asked Grok, which is for some reason, let me see if it shows up, is not in my history. That's odd. And I told it to access DNI Pulte's X account. And because Pulte said yesterday, let me take you to that. This is what Pulte said yesterday. Pulte said, news forthcoming in the morning. News forthcoming in the morning, right? And basically, he did a bunch of dives, and I didn't have a chance to go over them. But he also said at the end of all those, he said, good news. In addition to the historic declassifications, transparency by the president, we are this morning executing a fifth and near final round of terminations, and approximately 30% staff reduction from weeks ago. That's huge, by the way. The intelligence community must protect the American people, not the political whims of the bloated and corrupt elite class. Okay. So that was this morning. These declasses were July 26th, actually. A couple of them were 15 hours ago. Okay. And let me see what Grok has to say about that. Okay. Okay. So vulnerabilities in U.S. 2020 election interference, and I know I did read a little bit of it, and it was the China. China was all over it. So assesses that Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, plus non-state actors, had the capability to access, manipulate election-related systems, but notes uncertainty about specific plans to interfere with functioning. Centralized repositories, voter registration databases, poll books, official websites were judged mostly vulnerable. Systems that tabulate, transmit, display results were vulnerable to localized exploitation, but difficult to manipulate at scale sufficient to alter outcomes. Adversary claims of manipulation would be hard to disprove and could undermine confidence. Includes definitions of cyber terms, etc. Foreign threats. Foreign states would continue covert, overt influence to sway preferences, shift policies, increase discord, and undermine confidence. Russia, China, Iran, and non-state actors had infrastructure compromise capabilities. Russia assessed as using measures primarily to denigrate Biden, anti-Russia establishment, and amplify discord. China preferred Trump's defeat and increased critical rhetoric with redacted details on intent, online influence. China influence and cyber activity documents describe Chinese plans, capabilities ahead of 2020 to use influence in cyber operations exploiting U.S. societal fissures, racial tensions, USG military tensions, party disagreements, Congress Trump conflicts, women's rights, South China Sea, alleged war aspirations, international propaganda via social media, TikTok, Facebook, etc., and mainstream channels, plus gathering info on senior officials. Separate reporting on Chinese cyber attacks, probing campaign staff emails, collecting election-related data, and targeting for potential future operations, assessed as intelligence collection rather than intent to covertly sway the outcome at the time. A President's Daily Brief excerpt addresses Beijing efforts to shape U.S.-China policy, including alleged blackmail attempts using derogatory information against officials. Other CIA note summarizing intelligence on Venezuela's electronic voting manipulation capabilities, internal chat logs discussing election-related intelligence reporting revisions. Many pages remain heavily redacted. Now, this is also coming out at a time when President Trump is going to meet with President Xi coming up here. Let me find the date for that. With Xi. Okay. Folks, if you would like to support my work here, please do so. It is much, much needed, very, very, very necessary. So please support my work. You can do so by following the link in the chat that I am posting now. And you can also, I don't have Zelle up and working, but I was on the phone with them today and I had to resend an email, and hopefully it will be resolved by tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow, maybe the next day, but hopefully before the next show. And I'm putting in an X chat as well. So please support my work here, which is, 8 years now. 8 years, my friends, of multiple shows per week, some time off during my family issues, deaths, and separations, and certainly wouldn't want to go back 600 shows. I'll tell you that much right now. Yes. And if you haven't supported before, because you weren't able to, know that I keep this show free for you. And at the same time, sacrifices that I've made in this revolution, I just ask you to maybe find in your hearts to yourself make sacrifices as well. This is, you'll also find other ways if you don't want to donate, but you want some incredible grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Info at lightningspringsranch.com, or just go to Lightning Springs Ranch and use SNED at checkout for 5% off. Please do that. And thank you, Haggis Master. Send a donation to your P.O. box. I really, really appreciate that. And for those of you who do want to do it by mail, you can send Dave Snedeker, P.O. 184, Driftwood, Texas 78619. I have been terminated by Venmo, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee twice. Now Zelle, over the target, but certainly hoping to get my Zelle back because there are no charges on that. So if you want to wait till Thursday, that's fine too. And hopefully I'll have Zelle back up and running. Thank you, all of you who do take the time, take the effort, and understand the importance of supporting a warrior like myself in this information war. And it looks like Nothing. Okay. And I'm just checking because I want to give a shout out to anybody that did. But it looks like people are not really digging this. But um, Kathleen DeFabio, thank you for your $100 donation. This was yesterday. I very, very much appreciate you, Kathleen, for that. Um, and yeah, and for those who are subscribed to snedheads.com, thank you very, very much. We got a super chat on Rumble. That guy 71. I've been a silent fan for 6 years. Thank you. That guy 71. Thank you very much for your $20 donation. And I appreciate you very, very much. And so many of you, right? Like have been listening, have been watching, but haven't donated. And I just appealed to you to do so. This is, the hardest thing for me to do to get ready for this show is knowing that it just does not support me at a level that I really need it to. And that is that hurts the heart a little bit, to be honest with you. After 8 years, after 20 years, 19 years of being awake, trying to share as much information as I can to share my insights on the state of affairs. Yeah, and then of course, Give Send Go is still operational. Give Send Go / the head SNED, and some of you prefer that, especially with Zelle being down. So thank you all for those who are supporting this, and for those who aren't, I just ask you to maybe make a donation. It doesn't have to be big, but it makes a difference when thousands give $5. It makes a huge difference in my life. But thousands do not donate. And that's why so many of you donate 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, $800. Just that, and it's the big ones, the ones that do it consistently, that keep this show in front of you. Maybe, many hands make for easy work, and that's kind of what we're going for here. All right, my friends. Yeah, it's good. It's getting really, really fantastic. And if you would prefer to put something in your house, this is an incredible opportunity. snedpemf.com. And you can go to that website, snedpemf.com. Pulse electromagnetic frequency. Tesla, Einstein both talked about the future of medicine would be frequency. And I'm telling you, my friends, this thing is next level. Like it's really, really incredible. All you do is put your feet on it for 20 minutes twice a day, and it is increasing blood flow. It's increasing cellular activity. People say I look younger. I'm losing weight. I've lost 25 pounds. It's really incredible. And the belt shapes your midsection and melts the visceral fat away. It's really incredible. And just this month only, because they're launching this new air filtration system, which is really incredible. And if you reach out to Nancy, she can send you some information on that. It is you're breathing in the air that allows septuagenarians not septuagenarians, centenarians, or is it centenarians? I can't remember. In Bama, China, they tried to figure out why they're living so long and so healthy. and they found out that they have this very high ionized air. And this device is not only ionized air, but it is also um, has a light source, um, and you can it plays sounds that you can sleep by, and it's really incredible. And the look of it, by the way, is really really cool. And I'm trying to find if it's even listed yet. Here it is. Okay. Um, this is what it looks like. Holy Life A9 Smart Anion Bama Air. It's a really beautiful piece, and it can wake you up to sunrise lighting, and also sounds, and it just puts you in the most incredible energized air for sleep and for just general living. It's $500, but it's free if you buy one of the other devices, like you have to spend 1,000, but the Holy Life Shake and Massager is 1,000. You could buy this and get this. All right. So you're only paying $500 basically for this. This is the one I recommend fully, and that comes to you delivered for $1,650. And then you'd still get a Bama Air. Okay. Or if you bought this and you bought the Galaxy G1, which improves your eyesight and I think opens up your third eye as well, then you get two of these for free. So you could put one in different rooms. So just want to leave you with that. And thank you for being here for show 1775. I'm going to try to keep the count going from here on out. But that's a lot of shows, my friends. And thank you for being here. And long live the Republic. Where we go one, we go all. God bless you. Thank you again for the prayers for Brenda. And God bless you all. Good night.